Hello, it's John here for another tutorial. This is a follow-up tutorial looking at how we can make a grenade explosion effect, particularly a smoke grenade and a gas grenade explosion effect within Unreal Engine 4. So if you've seen the previous tutorials, we've created the maps, the materials, and the object. Now we're just going to go into Unreal and put that all together. So I've just created a particle emitter, and now it's time to set that up. So first of all, we're going to need to set this up to a model, an object type emitter. So I'm going to change that in there and set this up. I'm going to change up, instead of spawning this cube, we want to spawn a sphere. So I'm just going to click and set this to a sphere. We're also going to need to change the material to the smoke material that we have previously created. Make sure in the mesh data you change the material override, and in the required set it up in there. And that should hopefully start to take effect immediately. So once we've got that, we are going to change a whole bunch of elements, like the lifetime, the size, and how many we're spawning. So let's just quickly set up that initial size, because by default it's going to be huge, way bigger than anyone could really need it to be. So let's drop that in size. Once we've done that, we're going to want to change that initial velocity. Because we're creating a smoke grenade effect, we're going to want to have this rising up, because smoke's going to rise, and that's sort of the effect that we want. So let's play with this a bit. We're probably going to want a bit of left and right as well. Okay, I'm just going to put this into my scene so I can sort of see what it's looking like. As you can see, we've got a lot of up. The whole thing's quite fast and not very spread out, but ultimately we have a lot of up, and that's what we're trying to go for now. What we should do as well is change the size by life, because with smoke we want almost like a dispersing effect. So we're going to want our smoke to initially spawn in and be quite big, have a really big sort of radius to spawn with, cover a lot of area. And as that's going to rise up, we want it to drop down. So I'm just going to change the details here in the panel. Setting up so we've got a nice big smoke. And I'm just doing this quick and loosely. Obviously, if you're doing this for sort of final product, then sort of play with it a little bit more, really get those numbers right. Definitely add an arrive and leave tangent if you're going to be doing this for a final product, because that's going to help the easing between the first point and the last point. So we've got quite a big initial spawn there, and it's dropping now. We want it to drop down. Like say if we add more to the arrive and leave tangent, it'd be a little bit better, and maybe play with the second point when you want that to take effect, so you're happy with that. Alright, let's change the lifetime up a bit, depending on how long you're going to want your smoke on screen. The longer you have it on screen, obviously the more GPU and processing power it's going to eat up, because we're continuously drawing that. So with that said, let's change the spawn. I'm going to drop the amount of spawning. Obviously, the amount you spawn is really going to affect how well the computer is going to be able to run and handle all of this. So I'm dropping mine just to make it run a little bit nicer, but we should still be able to get enough sort of smoke detail out of there. So putting on an initial mesh rotation now, because we want the shapes to look a lot more dynamic. So they're going to be rotating around as they're spawning. So instead of having sort of the same shape all the way through, that initial mesh rotation should keep it interesting. And let's add, I think, a location. Let's go for a sphere. What a sphere does is it sets the spawn point, the spawn location, anywhere within the sphere. And if you click here at the bottom, we can sort of see the size, the start point. We'll be able to draw that in there. And let's increase this a bit. So by having sort of a bigger sphere, it means those effects, those objects in the material are going to spawn anywhere within there. So again, sort of play with that as far as wide as you would like it to be. The sphere as well gives it not just your X and your Y, but also the Z as well. So it's spawning kind of in a lot of different places. It's going to look quite dynamic, quite unique, hopefully. So I'm just tweaking the size by life a little bit more, making sure that's good. And let's give it a look-see. It's looking pretty good. So a lot of information going on, and like I said earlier, it's probably going to eat up the processor a bit. Could probably do maybe dropping the spawn a bit, but I mean ultimately I think the effect's looking pretty good. And as you can see, we're going really quite far into the air as well. Probably don't need so much lifetime on that, or so much initial velocity. But yeah, just looking at it from a different angle, we're totally getting that smoke effect. So you can see in the middle how it's looking a lot thicker as well. So I'm just going to, at the moment it's on an infinite loop. Obviously we don't want this to spawn infinitely. Once you pop a grenade, you are going to want your smoke effect, and then it won't last so long. So just in required, make sure you tweak and change that. Set the initial emitter loops to 1. Just tweaking that initial velocity as well, making sure it's nice and dynamic. Like I said, there's probably too much height on it before, and it'd be nice as well to have a bit more left and right. But yeah, there you go. That's looking pretty cool for a smoke effect. We've got the whole effect taking place, looking pretty cool, and yeah, quite a unique, powerful effect. For the gas grenade, it's going to be the exact same principle. So just changing the different material, that's all it would be. So I hope you found this useful, and hope you get to put that into effect yourself, because it's pretty cool. Once again, as always, thank you for watching.